viewers, Gavin Krupa here, and we're going to run through 13 horror games not to turn your back on in 2015. I tried my best there to do an old style voice.
Vincent Price.
Yeah?
Well, I'm scared, Gav.
Vinny Price, that's right. So we're going to kick things off with Bloodborne.
This is the big one for me.
Yeah.
Nobody makes better monsters than Miyazaki, and he's back with Bloodborne, which has kind of ditched the high fancy dragon stuff of Dark Souls series and has embraced Victorian Gothic, and I don't think anyone makes better monsters than From.
Next up is a massive one for me, Kodoku, which is this weird PS4 and PS Vita game from a London studio called Carnivore. And now this, to me, just looks a little bit terrifying. It's kind of a little bit Layton-y, it looks. There's like a little character walking around. The teaser trailer is one of the best teaser trailers for anything I've seen this year so far. It is only January, but I don't care. I did my research. Kodoku is a type of poisonous magic found in Japanese folklore. That world, Japanese folklore, is a bit terrifying in itself, and it just sort of has a hard line to my fear gland.
Right, I've just finished traipsing around Spencer Mansion in the Resi remake, which is really good. But the next Resident Evil on our list is Revelations 2, which is the sequel to the 3DS game. And it's something new for Resident Evil. It's kind of this episodic, downloadable series.
I like the idea of the episode thing, and I think the chapter element really worked well in Revelations, even when they ported it over. But I don't think it works as well on the 3DS. For me, Revelations, the original, is built for the 3DS. It's built for a train journey. It works really well. I don't know if switching it to every week is going to be as enjoyable. Next on our list then is SOMA, which is from Frictional Games. If you don't know, they're a crazy Swedish developer who made stuff like Penumbra and Amnesia. Now, Amnesia I can barely play because it's so terrifying.
Pant-wetting.
Yeah. But that's really, really good. It looks absolutely mental.
Yeah, it's coming to PS4 and PC, and it's super high concept. They're dealing with some big, lofty ideas. Philip K. Dick, Renee Descartes has been name-checked by the director, but I think there's going to be loads of monsters in space too.
Now, we've played Until Dawn, the two of us. Not very much of it, because not very much of it was playable. We took control of Hayden Panettiere and were sort of set upon by this Saw-type clown guy. And it really draws upon your fears. And also, there's 8 characters, but if one dies, that's it. They're out of the game.
Yeah, it's all about the idea of consequence. So over the course of the night, all 8 characters can live or they can die. And I'm thinking it might end up being a really cool party game. Not like Mario Party, a little bit different. And every time a character dies, you pass on the controller to the next person, and it's up to them.
Sticking with the slashers, it was announced recently that there's going to be a Friday the 13th video game. Now, very little is known about this. I think it's just a title screen. That's all we've got. It sounds like it's going to be quite cool. So the idea is like asymmetrical. You can either be Jason Voorhees, or you can take the role of the sort of teenagers that he goes after. And you just have to band together, sort of like Evolve, I guess, to take on Jason. I like that idea, and it's done almost exactly the same in another game that we don't know if it's coming out in 2015, but we wanted to mention it anyway because it looks so good and it has a really, really good trailer. And that's Summer Camp. And that's got Tom Savini, who does a lot of the sort of practical effects.
Yeah, he worked on Dawn of the Dead, the Romero film, and lots of other kind of gore movies of the 80s.
That's right, and it's also got Harry Manfredini, who did the original score for Friday the 13th. He's on board as well. Yeah, it's really odd though. Friday the 13th is coming out in October. There's no date for Summer Camp yet. They seem like very similar games. There's another team thing where you either the killer or the sort of survivors. That's a very similar thing, and even on Summer Camp's website, they quote Friday the 13th all the time, saying this is a love letter to Friday the 13th.
Yeah, well, there's a Friday the 13th reboot movie coming this year, but I think Summer Camp is the one made by people who really love this stuff. It's not a cash-in, and it's coming to Xbox One and PS4, and I really hope it's coming out this year. Okay, something a little bit different from the other games so far. Darkwood is already on Steam Early Access. It's a top-down, procedurally generated survival horror game. Obviously, a lot of survival horror games in the last few years, things like The Forest and so on. But this has this really creepy atmosphere. They use the fog of war really well to make it feel creepy. You don't know where you're going. And the game is full of just like crazy people who come out and attack you from the forest, which is a little bit unsettling.
Next up is our only Wii U showing in the horror genre, and that's Fatal Frame 5, which has been out for a while in Japan, but we're hoping that it's going to get a 2015 release because it surely has got to be ready. It's just rewriting some dialogue from Japanese to English, right?
Easy.
Exactly. I love the fact that in the Fatal Frame games, you have to use this camera, and it's a really harsh device sometimes because you sort of lifted up the camera and you don't really want to. But in this one, you actually are going to be lifting something, which is the gamepad. They're going to track that really well, which hasn't been used all that efficiently with the Wii U, which is odd. I think Zombie U used it really, really well. But until now, that's really been it.
So The Order, 1886, is it a horror game, Gav? While it's a third-person cover-based shooter and they're not particularly scary, it's definitely wrapping itself in the stuff of the horror genre. You've got werewolves, the occult, lots of gothic London crammed in there. And the E3 demo this year in which Galahad fights this kind of ferocious werewolf in an abandoned London hospital, that's pretty scary.
Are people still afraid of Doom? I mean, it's one of the very first sort of horror games that I remember being really scared of as a kid. The teaser trailer doesn't give much away. It's quite sort of, you see this sort of hulking beast being shown a little tiny bit. It's a scary game, man. And I think their ties with Oculus Rift, maybe we'll do something cool with that. That would be really good. I mean, the first time I ever played Oculus Rift, it was with Doom 3, and it was pretty terrifying.
Outlast. I think a lot of people have played it now. It's come to next-gen consoles, and it's pretty scary. And the team, Red Barrel's comprised of lots of people who used to work at Ubisoft, aren't yet done with horror. Philippe Moran, the studio co-founder, has said that the sequel is going to take a very kind of almost true detective approach. So new setting, new characters, new themes. So while we might be leaving the asylum behind, probably not the scares. Okay, so there's a lot of survival games. H1Z1 is Sony's take on it. It's coming to PS4 and PC. I think you can get early access on it right now. You know, it's not super original. You know, DayZ did a lot of this stuff, but it's got a lot of interesting ideas, particularly when it comes to crafting. It's all about taking advantage of your environment, and being on PS4 probably brings it to a new audience.
Now, we don't actually know that much about her story. All we've had is a really, really short teaser trailer which shows a lady being interviewed by the police, and it's really sort of weird, and it's like this sort of VHS feeling to it. It feels really unsettling, and it's written by the guy who did Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which is an odd Silent Hill game which really deals with atmosphere really well. And I think if he can sort of match some of that in a really odd, almost serial type story, I think it's going to be a good one.
So those are the horror games that we're going to be playing in 2015. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comments below. And for all your horror games, stay right here on IGN.